episode of the Jewish Connection channel, sponsored by the Jewish Federation of San Gabriel and Pomona Valley. And my name is Laurie Averitt. I'm a member of Temple Beth David here in Temple City, and I am bringing you today a recipe that belonged to both my grandmother and my great aunt. It's called carrot ring. It's also known as carrot kugel. It could be carrot mold. There are a lot of different variations on this recipe, and I'm giving you this was actually my great aunt's recipe given to my grandmother. Background is my grandmother came from the old country, Russia, and she sailed in on steers in 1906 when she was 5 years old, and they settled in Omaha, Nebraska. And then later she met and married my grandfather, moved to Sioux City, Iowa, which is an hour and a half northeast of Omaha. And my great aunt lived in South Dakota in Sioux Falls. This was a recipe that they made almost every Shabbat, and it was pretty simple because it doesn't take a lot of time. And what made it really unique is that a lot of different recipes use butter, margarine, or shortening. This one is all entirely shortening because Crisco, and Crisco was invented in 1911. And a little background history, because it was an alternative, a plant-based alternative to animal fat and butter. And it was economical, and it was cheap, and it made for a lot of kosher meals that made it better for people like my grandmother to have something that was both served for dairy meals and meat meals. And so for Shabbat, they had like either a brisket or they had chicken. So this was something that they can have that worked with both. So I'm going to show you how to make that. And this is already creamed Crisco and a half a cup of brown sugar. The Crisco you measure out. You can measure it in a measuring cup if you get the can, or if you get the stick, it's 2/3 cup. So I creamed it together already. Now I'm going to add the egg, 1 egg, and then I will add, you take fresh lemon juice. Try not to use the stuff in the jar, in the bottle, if you can. But it came from my friend's tree, because my lemon tree is not ripening anything right now. But this is actually 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. So actually I have to use that, but I'm going to use this. It's actually 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon for your information. And I'm going to put this together. And then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of vanilla. Then I will add the dry ingredient. The dry ingredient is 1 1/4 cup flour, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of salt, kosher salt, table salt, whatever it floats your boat, 1 teaspoon baking powder, and a half a teaspoon of baking soda. And you mix this together. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to mix this up, and I'm going to add it to this. So I'm going to blend this up real fast. So I'm going to use now, in the old days, my grandmother did all this by hand. No electric mixer or anything like that. Now we take shortcuts. And then I'm going to add 1 cup of grated carrots. Now, they use a hand crank grater. My mom called this a kugel. And the funny thing about the story with my mom and this recipe, I'm going to tell you in a minute, but my mom had this little hand crank grater. You put it in, you fold over, and you rotate, and it will rotate around and grate this. I used to have to grate the carrot by hand with a little rotary thing. And so, of course, food processor makes it easier. Use the coarse grater setting on the food processor if you're doing that, or on your box grater, use the coarse side. It makes the whiter part. So you mix it up like this. Then I'm going to add the dry ingredient. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. Meantime, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then it's called carrot ring. The interesting thing about carrot ring If you can use a ring mold, a ring form. My mom had a bigger ring. I suspect she made a double batch because it's actually bigger than what this recipe is. You can use a bundt pan, which is what we're going to use today. My cousin actually makes this in muffin pan. She makes individual muffins. They can make 6 large jumbo muffins or 10 small ones if you use the regular size muffin pan. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons cold water. And then I'm going to mix this all up. Now, when you use the Crisco, you're going to get a little bit left over. So you can cut that part off, a piece of off, use a paper towel, what have you, and use it in the pan. Because they didn't have pan spray or cooking spray or whatever in those days. So you put it in the pan, you spoon it in, it's kind of thick. You just spread it around a little bit. The funny thing about this is that my grandmother had a ring mold. It was old, tin, but the ring mold itself had a wider center. We can use it in a bundt pan, but she got the recipe from her sister Molly, who lived in South Sioux Falls. Molly had a son named Jerry, my dad's cousin, and Jerry came home one day. He said to my aunt, "Mom, I learned that you have to have peas and carrots with your meal, so I think we need to have peas with that." And because of the brown sugar, it's sweet, but it's not like super sweet, it's slightly sweet. And my grandmother's like, my aunt actually, because my grandmother was there, my aunt had a lot of heart problems, so my grandmother was there to help take care of him. So my grandmother said, "Jerry, you want peas? Okay, we'll give you peas." So after she baked it, she flipped over in the pan, she got the can of peas and poured it in the center of the ring. Here's your carrots and peas. So I have that. So anyway, so we have the ring mold like this. We're gonna put it in the oven, 350 degrees. You're gonna bake it for about 40-45 minutes until it comes out clean when you test it with the knitting needle. I use knitting needle, and it comes out clean. Then you're gonna put it in the oven, and you're gonna set your timer for 45 minutes. I set it for 45 minutes. Now I have this lovely timer because the light on it, because I don't hear the beeping. So it likes to change your color, so when I do that, so it's gonna change colors, and then it'll let me know when it's ready. So, and now it comes out of the oven after I let it cool, but when it comes out of the oven, I kind of run it around the pan a little bit, just a little, make sure it's loosened up, and then I'm gonna unmold it. So I have this lovely plate I'm going to use, and I flip it over like this. Okay. Now I use a different remote for this demonstration, but it comes out beautiful. It's like that, and this is what it looks like. And then, like my cousin had, when my cousin had with the carrot, the peas in the middle with the ring, was like, but that's he insisted, so my aunt indulged him. And then you can just cut it, and you can serve it. And so it comes out beautiful, that's stunning. And as we say in Hebrew, potato bone. Thank you.
Eladona kol amasim baruch umvarach befi kol neshama